Welcome to the week 5, and we are shifting from digital media to social media. The earlier 4 weeks we were discussing about a very broad spectrum of online digital media, internet, web, cyberspace, policy decisions and digital inequalities and many issues. So that's a part of the block 1, and this week 5 onwards and in the next 4 weeks we are going to discuss about social media. This is a very emerging area in the sense within the cyberspace, within the internet, within the World Wide Web. Due to technological advancement, the online platform provides much more participation with the medium, participation with the other members. So much more participation facilitated with Web 2.0. Web 2.0 and other technological comparison we will take into this presentation part, but that's a hallmark, that's a historical milestone in the shifting the static participation to the dynamic participation, where we used to receive the message only. Information retrieval is a maximum possibility. With the Web 2.0, we are able to participate, we are able to customize, and we are able to negotiate with the medium for multiple purposes. So that's a very broad technology, Web 2.0. One of the application side is, there are many more, one of the application side is the social media. So the broadly, this week we are going to have 2 video presentations on digital media. In the part 1, we will discuss about the overview of social media characteristics, its definitions, and the prominent social media outlets and types and components of social media. In the part 1. In the part 2, we will take up the historical dimension of social media and what are the functional blocks of social media. More importantly, we will explore more about the present scenario of social media in Indian context. That's a part of the part 2. It's an overview of social media, and in the beginning I was talking about Web 2.0. Technological advancement made many of the applications, particularly in the social media applications, become interactive publications that made much more interactive with the medium, with other members. And you and me are familiar with many social media platforms. Depends upon what sort of information you want to share, or what sort of information you want to gather, or what kind of relationship you want to maintain with the other members professionally, personally, with restricted, with different kinds of content, different kinds of media elements, based on which you will find plenty of social media platforms, but all of them are based on interactive applications. Technology provides that. There are companies, they adopted the Web 2.0, they tried to come up with their own design and algorithm that facilitated much more interaction with the medium, with the content, with others. So that's a special characteristics of social media. And second most important of social media is the entire social media is based on the user generated content. Generally we call it as a UGC, user generated content. So the user means the common people, the people who are accessing the internet and ICT technology are part of the web or cyberspace. Once you register with the social media, and it's no longer the platform is restricted to very sophisticated people, and anyone with fundamental skills and competency, and we are open to share our opinion in the text form or any other format. And billions and billions of data is being generated in the social media platform by the multiple, very huge number of audience. They are not necessarily from the particular geographical locations. So that's a specialty with the social media. It's interactive, it's a user generated content. And media richness, I was telling in the beginning, saying that the interaction with the medium, not necessarily text based, We were discussing in the earlier weeks about digital growth of internet over the period of time. The initial period we were restricted only to the text part because of lack of high speed bandwidth and broadband connections. But now we have much more facilities, and we have moved to higher technological generation in wireless connection or in the broadband, optic fiber and all. So that facilitated much more broader space, better technology that facilitates the sharing of media elements, either audio format or video format or pictures or along with the text or combination of anything or anyone. So that due to the much more data bandwidth, we are able to communicate, we are able to share not necessarily only text based information or opinion or views or creative output, but that can be delivered in a much more multiple way and combination of different elements. That's another speciality with the social media. Then it's not unlike the mainstream media. We have discussed in detail about the top down and horizontal, how the professional media are working, how digital media facilitating horizontal communication between members. So that's another specialty, is ideology of transparency. Here there is no gatekeeping, and gatekeeping happens in the mainstream media, and the professionals who are operating the mainstream media, they have their own set of institutional norms based on which they'll allow certain number of information and they'll stop a large quantity of the information. But here in the social media platform, in your account, you are the main person and you are deciding what you want to share that. So you are taking the call, you are taking the decisions, and others are reacting, and there are many more issues in the ideology of transparency. So it's openness, and you might have noticed a lot of transformation, social movements and influence, and positive as well negative way of this transparency has its own consequences, largely positive and significantly in a negative aspect. One of the point is misinformation, disinformation due to the social media platform. That's quite rampantly happening, particularly in the crisis situation. So that's another issue with the social media. The entire block we are discussing all these matters. And then last point is availability of information tools in the sense, and you can you can make interactive, you can connect with the multiple information tools, retrieval and sharing, collaborating. And it's not the social media is not about only the Facebook account or Twitter. There are many more. Particularly if you go to the Wikipedia or Reddit or Pinterest, here it's not about connecting with the people, but we are connecting with the people with ideas, with information, with the subject, with the knowledge. So social media applications are wide and significant, and this is transforming the society in multiple way because of the sheer size of connections we are able to make with the multiple number of users, and not necessarily from the locality where we are belonging, but comes across the different boundaries. So these are the broad characteristics. I hope you will be able to connect with your experience with the social media. So now with that understanding the characteristics, now you can see the some of the application side. When we said media richness, now you can see the different applications and its own media richness platform. Suppose you are more prefer to share more of text based interaction, then you might have been interacting more through Facebook or Twitter. And if you are more keen to share your photos, photo based information, then Instagram could be the another outlet. But this is not only one, there are many more. The examples are only indicative, not necessarily we are endorsing the companies. And sharing the video, then then options are available many more. The prominent one is YouTube, and like the earlier slide, we are talking about information tools, and here the one example is the popular Wikipedia, where you are have an option to share your knowledge. and you can add additional knowledge to the existing articles. And Wikipedia is one of the classic example of Web 2.0, where the interaction is much better than the normal websites, where the Wikipedia content is completely created by the community, and we have mentioned it many times in the earlier lectures. And anyone can create an article, or anyone can edit the article, or anyone can delete the article, and the knowledge pooling is happening 24/7, and it's not necessary to one few people, but it's a huge community working on that, and they have developed their own norms of which are the article needs to go, and what sort of editing needs to be approved. And they have, this is a classic example of collaboration, a classic example of pooling the knowledge on that. And then we have seen the characteristics like that, how medium can be used for information or knowledge sharing. And here, for example, Pinterest or Reddit, they are providing a platform to share your information, and which are the information, which are subjects which you feel that and you like it, and you prefer that some of those information may be useful to others. So you start collecting those information. It's accumulation of information available in the web. Wikipedia is creating knowledge, and Pinterest and Reddit are all provides a platform in which you can accumulate the knowledge and see how best. These are not a kind of, we don't need to have any website. We don't need to maintain any kind of hosting solutions, and here's account is being created with some popular social media platform. Remember that all these outlets, either Twitter or Instagram or Wikipedia or YouTube, are owned by companies, private companies. Unlike Wikipedia, which is a foundation, is working on that, but a majority of the remaining are private companies, and these are multinational companies. They are working on that. There are issues. When we go to that, when we go to the historical dimension, you will understand the earlier form of social media and current form of social media. We were discussing earlier in the first block about the theoretical understanding of cyberspace, accumulation of power. We were referring to that accumulation of power, and this is one of the classic example. The social media is a very powerful tool, and earlier in the historically, if you look at the earlier avatar, earlier manifestation of cyberspace, the social media early primitive level, it was text based, and it's largely distributed platform, and nobody owns that. It was shared by many people, but now the companies are owning that, and they are trying their level best to streamlining the system, but ultimately the decisions taken by the community of that company, the community sponsor community. They are the one taking a decision. Any disputes arise within this platform there. But if you look at the graph, you can understand that which are the platform very popular. The Facebook is as of 2020 and 2021, and then globally they have highest number of users, and this is the biggest company with billions of users. They have multiple other companies, other applications also in the social media platform. For example, Instagram and WhatsApp belongs to the Facebook company. Right now, we have seen the different applications, and we have seen which of the applications are very popular. Now we'll look at the prominent social media outlets and little bit of details about these companies and what sort of current position they have. This is the statistics based on 2020. And for example, the Facebook, which is mostly it's a kind of personal relationship, you will maintain that. The relationship between the UK is you will create a kind of friendship, known person or interested people, and within this family or within the official platform or with anyone. And this is a one level within the Facebook, or you can create a group, or you can create a page. If you want to use it for business purposes, they have multiple applications. It's basically launched in 2004, and currently they have 1.7 billion users. And the second, another prominent social media outlets would like to highlight is Reddit. This is launched in 2005 as a news sharing platform, and currently they have 300 million users, And this big number, 300 million people, they transformed Reddit into the combination of news aggregation and social commentary site. And it goes beyond other platform, where here the accumulation of news content or social commentary site is quite prominent. That's a specialty with the Reddit. And then other quite politically popular social media platform is the Twitter. Politically and socially, both are quite popular, and though they don't have that much highest numbers of users, but the people, the celebrities, the powerful people, they are the one mostly quite popular in the Twitter platform, and they have a huge followers. Unlike the Facebook, that's globally very highest number of users they got, but Twitter is very influential in terms of the celebrities, in terms of powerful people, in terms of, and traditionally the media usually breaks the news, but now majority of the latest developments are happening in the social media platform. And in developed countries, many the younger population started getting more news from the social media rather than the mainstream media. There's a kind of a close collaboration also happening between the social media and the mainstream media, because the news goes to the audience directly. The person knew the person who wants to break the story, not necessarily journalist, the actual source of the information, and he or she and share the information through Twitter. That's a change here, the biggest change. And then the another popular video sharing platform is TikTok, and is being quite popular in the global context. But due to the political reasons, some of the countries are allowing this TikTok application, some of them are not allowing. But primarily, this is one of the highest followers they have. That's why this this application is being mentioned in this presentation. It's actually founded in 2016 by Chinese technological company, and now it has around 800 million users worldwide. Then another important point, another important social media application is Instagram. And this is, though it started in 2010, but in 2012, and it was purchased by the Facebook. And currently it has around 1 billion users worldwide. And mostly here, it's a photo sharing platform. Not mostly, this is the platform based on the photo sharing options. And then like Reddit, there is one more option called Pinterest. It's a Pinterest also similar to the accumulation of knowledge and news aggregator and social commentary site. It's founded in 2010, and it's become a publicly traded company in 2019, and it has more than 335 million active monthly users. This is as of 2020 data. Then another important social media application is Snapchat. Founded in 2011, it's quite popular among the young adults, and this is a video sharing service introduced the concept of stories or serialized short videos. That's popular. So every online platform, every company, they're coming with a different unique aspects in its application side, and that's able to attract the audience to use their applications. It's a business proposition for them. It's not a free service they are doing. We are accessing our data is their raw material, based on which number of users and the quantum of data and their platform is being used, and with that they are making a business out of that work. So these are all these private owned companies, and the users runs in sometimes billions and majority in the millions, and we are the users. We are using it free of cost, but remember that in a futuristic context, some of the services might be become a paid service. Already YouTube started charging money if you wish to use the service without any advertisement breaks. Though service still available with the support of advertisements, but if you don't want to see the advertisements, then you need to subscribe their services with paying some amount there fixed by the company. So similar trend might be utilized or introduced over the period of time, once the companies realizing that we have substantial numbers and that can be monetized. This is how the YouTube started doing this. Now we'll come to the actual communication process within the social media. Now we have seen the characteristics, we have seen some of the prominent social media platform. Why people are gathering in the social media platform, and some of the applications having billions of users, and majority at least they're having millions of users, like 300 million or say 800 million people have 1 billion users. And what sort of benefit they are getting? And this is social media means it's a replication of society. So primarily the members of the social media, they feel that the participation based on the social presence. There is a gap, geographical gap between the known persons, and in order to keep their contacts, communication intact, they have adapted to this platform, social media platform, the Facebook or Twitter or YouTube or Instagram. The social media presence is defined as the extent to which a medium allows the users to experience others as psychologically present in that platform. And then the social presence is an illusion, actually. Illusion of being there, or an experience of being in an environment while physically separated or physically situated in different locations. And though we have seen in the earlier week discussion about computer mediated communication, the time and space is not a barrier in the online cyberspace. And here the technology brings the gap between the users, particularly in the geographical level, whether it's your synchronous or asynchronous level, it cutting across the barrier and you are able to connect with that. But remember that not physically, but with the medium, we are able to communicate either text based or audio based or video based, either recorded version, asynchronous or live streaming or video call. That's called synchronous mode on that. Media is perceived as a warm if it enables a human interactions. That's what the social media is doing. It's not an interaction between the computers, it's interaction through computers by the human being with much more human feelings. That's what Renningold earlier, if you look at the online communities is the definition itself saying it's a relationship between human beings and carrying forward the exchange of human feelings. Similar concept is being applicable in the social presence context. And in the social media platform, we were discussing the characteristics of social media. It's not about only relationship, but it's about sharing, collaborating with others for knowledge sake, or exchange of knowledge or exchange of information. The information seeking increases the perception of social media presence. And the another important the definition of social media social presence is the social presence enhances the user's continued use of social media. The better the connections with the multiple number of users, and better the utilization and better the gratification, the person's involvement with the social media goes higher level. And we have seen the characteristics, we have seen the prominent outlets, and then we have seen the social presence in the social media platform, why we are gathering and what is the purpose of that. And in the next part 2, we'll take up the definitions and types, components and social media presence in the Indian context. Thank you.